to at least have a family. As the economy goes into depression, they're going to take your children. It's happening everywhere. They're now locking people up in Sacramento, the homeless people. They won't let them stay in tents. They lock them up at night in a sports stadium. We reported on that 2 years ago. This is their program of control. Now, I spent the whole first hour on this because of watching the media act like it's legitimate to take somebody's children. In this case, from what looked like a pretty nice house with a toilet, dry toilet they put in, chemical toilet, computers, homeschooled. They've got air conditioning. And I grew up around folks where the maintenance people, lived in what you'd call a shack. Some of the best living in the world's done in that. Some of the most unhappy people in the world are living in mansions. But my point is this is the lawless evil of the CPS, where they will take your children for dirty dishes in the sink, when they're 5 times more likely than any other group to abuse children, according to the Justice Department, the Time magazine cover piece, The Shame of Foster Care. Now, enough from me. I want to introduce you to the activist, Minister Quanell-x, who this happened a month ago, we've now learned, who finally got the media to cover it and has been helping Prince-Leonard and his wife, his 6 children. And who should speak first, Mr. Leonard or Mr. X?
It's Brother Quanell. Well, I just want to say thank you, Mr. Jones, for allowing Mr. Leonard and I to come on your radio show this afternoon. We're grateful. And I also want to commend you for challenging and going after CPS, because the things that you said about it earlier is absolutely right. The only reason why Mr. Leonard's family have had their children snatched and taken away from them is strictly because, in the eyes of a CPS investigator, their living conditions were not conducive to her liking, so they took the children. These children are A and B honor roll students, never had one disciplinary report in school. They were not abandoned. They were not neglected. There was no allegations of drug or alcohol abuse or molesting allegations, none of that. They strictly said that because you are poor and your standard of living does not meet the CPS investigators' liking, they took all 6 of this man's children and his wife's children. And they called him at his job. His wife called, and she told him what was going on, and unfortunately, there was nothing he could do at the time. But the reason they have given everybody, including myself, is they were poor. They were not living in a dangerous environment, just poor. And the Leonards moved out of a dangerous environment and lived in their car because they were in a housing complex where drugs and alcohol and prostitution and gang violence was running rapid, so the kids couldn't go outside and play.
By the way, I've seen on Google video and Google Earth, there's like forest, woods, there's a big fence around the RV boat / container park, a big area for children to play. Some tattletale saw kids playing behind a fence and called CPS to begin with. And we did actually talk to some of the people when they first lost his job, when they were in a shelter. And a lot of these places are hellish, so he did the only thing a father could do. He didn't go on welfare. He kept working and was saving money and literally built them a home. That's the American way, I thought.
And that's the most important thing that everybody needs to understand here. Mr. Leonard refused to take food stamps. He refused to apply for welfare. He refused to apply for housing. His position was, just so long as I'm healthy and able to work, I'm going to work until my change comes. Why punish this man when CPS suggested he should apply for welfare and food stamps and housing, but he didn't want government assistance. He wanted to do it for himself, and now they've taken this man's children.
Unbelievable. So continuing here, bringing Mr. Leonard on, tell us about your wife, your children, how long it's been since you've seen your 6 darling children who just have electric energy in their eyes. They don't look like these, mainline Prozac head kids that are out there. Describe what you've been through and where this is going, because I'm now told, due to attention, that you are getting a home, but CPS, they don't like to be proven wrong. That is a nicer home or something more to their godlike liking. And so we don't know yet if you are going to be getting your children back right now, and supposedly you're going to be meeting with them in about an hour.
Yes, sir. Well, they came 2 days before Father's Day, took my children. I was at work, and my wife called me on the job, and she was telling me about CPS taking our children, and I was like, wait a minute, ask the lady her name. She told her name, and then I say, actually give some paperwork. And she said she's going to take our children to make sure that that's who she's with. She didn't want to give my wife the paperwork, so I told her to call 911. She called 911, and the police came. And finally, she gave my wife a piece of paper. And it's been, our life has been upside down. You know, the house we stand, the place we stand in is quiet, no children. You know, a lot of times we sit and look at the pictures or look at the wall and say, you know, just thinking about them.
What? But I've often thought about this. Having my 3 children torn away, I don't think I could control myself. I mean, what was the horror like when they tore them away? What did your little ones go through?
They were crying. Like my daughter told me that my 2-year-old, which is my youngest one, he cried all the way from the place to the grandparents' house, and he cried a long time. You know, he was nursing. You know, and they just stripped him away from my wife. My wife asked him for a breast pump, and they said they was gonna get one, but they never got a breast pump. I could count on one hand how many times they coordinate. They called us and talked to us. They never did that. They didn't do nothing. They didn't try to help us out. They didn't offer us nothing. They said, we're going to take your children away from you.
Well, the good news is at least they are with the grandparents, but you never know what the CPS will do now. And that's another point. Why just take the children away? Why not then offer you some help?
That's the question. My wife asked her like 5, while I was on the phone, she asked the lady 5 times, you know, will you help us? Will you help us? We told people at the public school our issues, and they asked us, if we offer you help, will you accept it? We said yes, but nobody never helped us. So we had to do for ourselves, and that's what I've been doing. I work, and I work, and I work, and just keep working. And one day, you know, one of these good days, I have me a place for my family, and this could be behind us now. That's how we looked at it. But in the meantime, we're not going to do nothing illegal. We're not going to do nothing wrong. We're just going to do it how we're supposed to do it until we get us a place.
Well, describe for people, sir, how all this began. I mean, how you ended up having to move into the storage facility, but it had air conditioning, a toilet, everything. I mean, I saw the video; it looked pretty nice. Your children look extremely happy. I mean, since when is that a crime?
I don't know. We lived there. We left there at the apartment complex. What was going on? There was a lot of drugs being sold, and the police was kicking in doors. And so I was like, well, I don't think I want to stay anymore. But we stayed there for like, I think 2 years. And and every 6 months they would go up on the lease, but they wouldn't improve the place. And we had issues with rats and roaches. And so we, after my lease was up, my wife and I, we left out of this place, out of this apartment complex. So we stayed in the car a little while so we could figure out what is it that we want to do. So we started staying in this here boat and RV storage, and we fixed it up so it'll be livable. That's what we done.
Well, living in a big empty RV boat area with basically a park there, it's so big. That sounds like a great place with children behind a fence, safe, than living in some crack-infested den. I want to bring the activist who's brought this story out to people up here, Mr. X here, quanell-x, sir. Now we're told, though, that people have stepped forward and he is going to get a home. But obviously, tell us where that's going, but what the CPS is acting like, how they're behaving right now.
Well, we have successfully gotten them a place to stay that's more decent and more palatable to CPS's liking because they say they want them somewhere else. Well, we've gotten them that. What the family's in need of now is furniture or appliances. Taking care of 6 children is hard, down on your luck. They need as much as they possibly can to make their home now where they're going to be going a very palatable, acceptable place for them to live. But remember, CPS could come in and say, well, you don't have enough food in the refrigerator, or you have too many unclean dishes that's not being washed consistently. See, some of these CPS investigators are very arrogant, disrespectful to poor people. Yes, they have placed the children with grandparents, but now I'm being told by a CPS source they're going to do a home study on the grandmother, and if the grandmother is viewed to be too old, or if she's currently on medication, or she has some disabilities because of the ages of the children, they'll take them from the grandparent and place them in foster care.
No, that's how they always work. To make themselves look reasonable, they'll do that at first, then they'll white glove inspect. For those that don't know, at West Point, they put white gloves on and go around the light bulbs and go under things. If any dirt gets on the glove, you fail. And then meanwhile, the CPS people, it's like Austin. They give you $3,000 a day fines for 3-inch grass. And then I go to the city buildings. They got 2-foot grass, and council members got foot-tall grass. You know, I've shown those video reports to folks, and it's really caused a stir. Total hypocrisy. So we need to get folks some financial support. And obviously legal support is now coming so that they can't win this victory. People say, well, they're grabbing millions of kids overall every year. You know, the point is this has gotten attention, and we can't let this story get attention and then the children basically be completely taken away. As you were just saying, we've got to stand up and show people what needs to be done. What's coming up today in about an hour at the CPS meeting?
We have a meeting in an hour with CPS to discuss the terms and conditions of reuniting the family. And if the family meets the terms and conditions that CPS puts before us today, they're saying they will reunite the family. But I don't trust these terms and conditions. I'm going to scrutinize these terms and conditions. And if I find them to be unacceptable, we'll tell them to take them, and we'll fight them in court, and we'll fight them in the court of public opinion, and we'll organize as many people as we possibly can to fight CPS, because sometimes they'll put terms and conditions on families that are absolutely unreasonable and unattainable. This man...
Yeah, they'll do things like, you got to pay $2,000 a month, and I've seen it higher, to go to all these family classes. You got to drive all these places. We're going to come in and inspect you every week. And then they find one thing they don't like. Then you've signed an agreement. They take your kids forever.
Right. Absolutely.
No, I mean, listen, they have bounties on children. They're not there to help children. Are there some social workers that aren't evil? In some cases. But the overall system is predatory. It's on record. Now, I'm told that there is an account number, and you guys didn't even bring this up to me, but I'm bringing it up. I'm told that there is an account number for people, and I'm going to say right now, since other folks are helping, and now that there's a home, I was saying I was ready to go get him a place rented and put $10,000 down so he would have close to a year of it paid. But I'm going to give $5,000 of my money, because folks tied to these corrupt churches who, you know, buy big swimming pools and the rest of it, you're supposed to tithe to widows and the poor and people that are in trouble. So it's real charity, not the government with strings attached. I'm going to give $5,000 Monday, because my accountant who'll wire it, I'm too dumb to do it myself, I guess I got to have my wife do it. I'm going to wire $5,000 on Monday. In fact, I'm not going to wait. I'm going to do it today. I'm going to wire $5,000 today into this account, and I would ask everybody else to wire $5, $10 into this account, or if there's a mailing address to help Mr. Leonard, because he didn't go on welfare. He built this home. You know, he did what rugged Americans are supposed to do. And we need to stand up to the CPS and say it's not illegal to be poor. It's not illegal to not want to live in government housing. It's not illegal to want to raise your own children. We're human beings. Treat us like that. What are the best places to send contributions?
Mr. Leonard, give them the account number.
Okay.
Bank of America, 488-029-678611.
Please say that 2 more times from the start, starting again.
488-029-678611. That's 488-029-678611.
And folks, a lot of you are going to say, what is it going to do to help one family? If we all started finding people in our street or our neighborhood, or like when I was a child, my parents really did this so I know how good I had it, taking me down many Christmases to be at the Salvation Army in South Dallas and to feed people and to do things like that at those soup kitchens. If that is what it's all about, if Americans started acting like this even 2 days a month, and if you gave your money, and churches aren't going to like this, to people individually, like I've bought people medical beds, done things like that, stuff people never hear about. The point is, charity starts at home, and it's time for us to do this, not this big corrupt bureaucracy that's supposed to take care of us, that is nothing but a eugenics murder arm with a bunch of compartmentalized idiots that don't even know what they're doing. Bank of America, it's Prince Leonard, 488-029-678611. We'll be right